trying to not be black pilled, but have you heard the stuff with the acolyte, right?
Oh boy. Yeah, some of it.
So Dave Filoni comes out and says that Anakin didn't understand that he was evil. He killed children.
He did not understand that he was evil.
I think if you kill kids,
Don't call me a rocket scientist, but
yeah, like I'm just saying, if you go slaughter a bunch of kids in at their schools, you you got to have an inkling of that. You have conversations, but you're routinely choking people.
don't worry, he's still a good person.
Yeah, he's still deep down as I'm having a conversation while I'm choking the shit out of the dude next to you.
Don't detract that from the fact that
Yeah, I'm giving you I'm giving you a promotion. Because the other dude failed me because he got a little too close. Yeah, a little too close. When we came out hyperspace, a little too close to the planet. So I had to choke the shit out of his ass. I slaughtered thousands of people, killed Jedi I knew. So, but I guess, it's not evil. No. So what is that? I am trying to understand Dave Filoni's actual logic behind that. And like, if that's not evil, then what is? See if I can find. I will go as I don't know. Where do you think his thought process is about that?
probably nowhere.
All right.
I think like him and what's her name, the showrunner or the creator of the Acolyte, they're really like doubling down on their on their things there.
Okay, so let's go with this. I know you're so looking forward to this, like so much that it hurts on the inside. How much you are looking forward to seeing this masterpiece that is about to grace us in a few days.
Don't play it. I just might get too excited.
Just you asking me that question is making me cry.
Is it? That's all right.
Yeah.
It is a big deal to a lot of people. It affects people in different ways. And
She is very ugly.
Story, so
what I was interested in
that is not an attractive person.
were the master apprentice dynamic. If the apprentice is craving the master's power, then at some point he must recruit his apprentice to overthrow the master.
Yeah.
And that is the acolyte.
Right.
Who trained you?
She literally does not understand how this works. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's like they're looking for someone that's more powerful than them. Well, has the potential to be more powerful than them. Knowing the fact that this person is at some point going to try to kill you. And if they succeed, then, hey, there's a more powerful Sith that to carry on what's going on, what we're up to. If he doesn't, and I kill him, I go look for another one till I find one that can succeed in killing me. I don't think she understands that. No, I'm serious. I think she probably thinks like, which is weird, is consider how you have all of the history of that. All you have to do is go read Bane. There's like books. There's
you
an
don't
actual
wake up thinking you're evil or that you're the bad guy, as explored by George and Anakin.
Yeah, I don't think Anakin ever thinks he becomes evil.
I agree,
life,
and I think a lot of the characters.
Really?
Yeah, he killed kids.
Really?
It's like, and he is supposed to be the savior of Star Wars, sitting there as she says this stupid shit, and he disagrees with her. Like, oh yeah, he didn't know. It's like, you understand, like, Dave, you actually should understand the character. He hated himself for what he was doing. So he knew.
Oh my gosh.
He knew he was evil, and he hated that about himself.
That's kind of what makes him Anakin. That's kind of what makes him that character.
Right, and
He's torn between, the bad and the good. So,
but it's like, so this, it's just, oh, okay. So that's what else? Pearls of wisdom this person has.
In the acolyte have to convince themselves that they are
Doing the right thing.
they're doing the right thing.
This is the Clone Wars.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ahsoka was such an interesting character to me.
When we started, we had it very much a shell shock moment for her that she was out of her depth. And I'll never forget it. George watching it and saying, "You guys are taking this a bit too seriously." He went on to explain that, like, even at a young age, she's not out of her depth for any of this.
I had a similar experience with the character Jackie. There was a note from somebody that was, wouldn't she be scared on her first mission? And I remember you telling me about that story.
Jedi training has to be valuable. It prepares them for the galaxy.
So again, the savior of Star Wars. All right. Yes, you are training. You go out into the galaxy with your master, who then tells you. So you experience the galaxy. You the training part, which he just showed was in the temple. So keep in mind, these are the same people who did not know that the ultimate evil was like across the parking lot, and they just didn't notice. and who got a extremely powerful Jedi in their midst just because he was a little too old and he saw evil or fear in they were just going to kick him out. I'm like, okay, so then what? That's stupid. It's like, I love Star Wars. The prequels are dumb. Like, to me, from what I saw, it was a lot of stuff. Now it is better when you like read the novelization of them, so because you get insights of how they're thinking, so it makes it better.
Oh, okay.
But in terms of the movie, how the movies go, it's just like, no,
You
this
didn't
is
like
a lot.
Yeah.
No, because it was a lot of talking. It was just like, it's like you have a very young Anakin, and you decide to put him with a very young Padme, who he knows already. Send them out into the galaxy, and then when something happens, I'm shocked. What?
It's the seal.
It's like I'm shocked by this. It's like, and they're young, so therefore, when you're young, it is very difficult for you to not show your puppy dog eyes when you see somebody that you love. So I can't imagine that none of the rest of the Jedi noticed any of that shit. But hell, Obi-Wan barely noticed, and he's with him all the time. So it's like, I was like, okay, I get you don't notice it from her, like you notice it from his point of view. It's like, but you didn't notice it from her point of view. Because you've been around people who start digging each other, especially with like young people who start digging each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because they have not learned how to hide that shit yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they wear their heart on their sleeve, like really.
Right, and you have not trained any of your Jedi to deal with that particular type of thing. So it that's why I like the extended universe a lot, because Luke Skywalker stopped that shit, like that dumb shit. It's like, dude, if you the reason why you didn't notice that the Emperor or Palpatine was what he was is because you were so divorced from the actual world that you just didn't notice it beyond your ivory tower until shit happens and you get wiped out.
Oh.
And everyone was shocked. It's like, Anakin turned on us. You mean that you asked him to go kill someone that he's known since he was 6 and has been a mentor to him since he was 6, and you also indicated that you didn't like the closeness between the two? and then you're shocked that he didn't want to kill him.
I guess when you put it like that.
Yeah, especially after you've been shitting on Anakin because of the initial assessment of him when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So it's just like, dude, this is look. I'll say it again to anybody listening. I like Star Wars. Like I really love the extended universe. It's just I always thought about, all right, so if you had the chance to do the prequels, how would you have done it?
Good question.
Well, think about it, and I will tell you what I would have did. All right. First movie, it is Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn, right?
Okay.
They're on a mission to Corellia. They ever been to Corellia? Like, we've never been to Corellia before a solo movie. So this is a new location. They go there, and the ship that they're flying on encounters some kind of thing, some kind of space thing or whatever. And it takes it's like it almost crashes, but it manages to land safely. Okay. So Qui-Gon and with Obi-Wan, they go up to thank the pilot. He's like, man, you're a good pilot. So they go up there and they meet it's like they think it's just this guy. So like, thank you, whatever. He's like, nah, it wasn't me. It was Annie. So you turn around and it's Anakin Skywalker. He's about 15, 16 years old, phenom pilot. Because again, that's what in the Star Wars movies was all about. He was a pilot, not a pod racer or whatever the other shit that they decided.
Oh. Uh-huh.
So it's like, okay, so they meet him, they sense something about him, but they're just like, he seems to be, it's like, they get to know him a little bit, and it's like, okay. So when he walks off or whatever. It's like, man, he seems to be, it's like, can you feel that? It's like he's really strong in the Force, right? So they have, but they have like their own mission on the planet. They go through the mission. Anakin helps them, right? So he becomes friends with a 16, 17-year-old Obi-Wan. They become friends. So and that the whole movie is just about those two. They get to become friends. They go through all the trials and tribulations or whatever, right? So the second one is like Qui-Gon gets killed. The Jedi, they have their thing, but he's too old, and so we can't train him. He's set in his way, so we can't train him. So Obi-Wan, because he's his friend, decides to try to show him how, like, to train him on the side. And that's what the second movie is about. And then you can go into the Clone Wars and all that stuff. And doing this, that is when you meet Padme. You meet Padme in the second movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then you can show through that, like, because this is what you learn in the books, is like the reason why Anakin turned is because he's so used to losing stuff that he holds on to whatever he has as strong as possible, and he'll use any means necessary to preserve the things that he loves, because
the things that he loves. Uh-huh.
So you show all of that in little glimpses or whatever, and then you show that in the second one, right? So the culmination of the third movie is the end of the Clone Wars. He does some kind of feat where he gets to be, where they make him a Jedi, all right? So however you want to do it during the second story, and this is him trying to deal with that in the third movie, and eventually he gets to, like, you can introduce Palpatine in the second movie as a guy who's kind of whispering in his ear a little bit too, and then you can show him slowly getting angry about stuff, and you can also show that while Padme, like, he loves Padme loves him, she's friends with Obi-Wan too. And so you can start showing little bits of jealousy towards the end of the second one, going into the third one, and then you can show him slowly turning over to the dark side.
Yeah.
Right. And to make it interesting, you make him like as a throwback to their kid, you make him like, this personality is like Han Solo's. He's cocky.
Right.
Right. So is a type. So that means the daughter fell for a guy that's like her father, even though she's.
That's kind of what the movies did, no?
Right.
Yeah.
But I threw out all the freaking meetings and the Droid Federation and all that dumb shit, because the Clone Army, you make the Clone Army an actual threat. The Clone Wars, like, you're fighting the clones. So then you can still do how the Republic is turning into the Empire, doing all 3 movies. So you can do intrigue and all this other shit, throw all that stuff in there, right?
Right.
So that's what I would have done. Yeah. So like all I don't like sand shit and the pod racer stuff and all this other stuff. You show the gradual changing of Anakin from the kind of go lucky dude from the first movie, but he has darkness to him, and because he got missed because of like his mother died and all that stuff. So that's how the Jedi missed him. But he's extremely powerful in the Force. So you show that through all 3 movies, and then you can show him slowly. It's the anger part and the
Go towards
jealousy,
the dark side. Yeah.
right? So you can show that over the 3 movies.
That's
So he
true.
starts on one, yeah. So yeah, he doesn't need to be a kid, and then
like all of a sudden when he grows up, he
right. So it's like, so you can show the gradual change, and then because in the actual Star Wars movie, Leia knew her mother because like they had a conversation. Her and Luke have a conversation at the end of the Return of the Jedi about her mother. She's like, yeah, she was always sad. So yeah, so she leaves before Anakin finds out that she's pregnant. Then that's how you can do Bail Organa. So she gets involved in all this other stuff, and then she goes off with Bail Organa. You can do away where because everyone thinks Anakin is killed when the duel between him and Obi-Wan. So he doesn't know that she's gone. Like, and you can have it so that he has no interaction with Bail Organa at all. So he doesn't really know like who this person is, but then you can also show why he would adopt her kid and there's all this other shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I would do it over 3 movies, and because I've heard people say that the Return of the Sith should have been all 3 movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And how old was he doing Return of the Sith? He was like 18, 19, 20. There you go. All 3 movies.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, yeah, I think that would be that would have been way more interesting than what we got. It's like we didn't really need to see him as a kid. It's like, okay. And the fact that he made C-3PO was kind of okay. He didn't need to be a slave. He didn't need to be all that stuff. Because he can have a tragic past, and people are traumatized by their tragic past. You know, he never knew who his dad was, that kind of thing. So then you can still do was he a clone thing, like, all right, like that kind of thing.
A lot of the things they had, I guess, like
Ricky says Star Wars is dead.
compared to your idea, it's a lot of filler, huh? Or like things don't really like in the grand scheme of things don't really have a lot of consequence. The things that they put in the movie.
Well, and that what made like the extended universe so interesting is all the stuff that Luke Skywalker eventually had to go through because he had no one to show him how to do anything.
Yeah.
So he was doing everything on his own. So he started the Jedi Academy on his own because there's no throughput because it's been completely destroyed. So there's like he can find records here and he can find records there. But reading about how something was and actually experiencing it are 2 different things. And then, like, from what I can remember, all the masters were killed, like all of them. So he doesn't run it. So Luke Skywalker doesn't run into any masters, except for maybe they had a thing where the clone of the Emperor thing happened, and they had like a crazy guy or something like that. But other than that, everything was off. Like, so he was way more practical about stuff. Hence, like one of the Jedi had a wife and kids and all this other stuff. It's like the whole monk thing that didn't really work out too well in the end.
Yeah, true.
All right, so we are staying on that particular topic. We're gonna go and talk about. I'm done with Dave Filoni. Like, bro, like Anakin knew exactly how evil he was, and that's what drove him. That's what made him hate himself. And the fact that you can sit up there and not acknowledge that because of whatever silly reason, I can't say I'm disappointed because I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Right.